Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to week 5 for research proposal here. I just wanted to go over a few things in relation to what's being asked of us for this next week and sort of getting a grasp for where we're at over the course of the semester. So, first of all, we're at the start of the 5th week, a quarter of the way through the semester. I just wanted to give you guys a reminder that you have about 2.5 weeks until the annotated bibliographies are going to be due. Ah, right? I know it's coming up fast. So October 11th is when the annotated bibliographies are going to be due. And as a reminder, this is where you draw at least 10 sources that are going to be useful for your proposal. So giving background information about your topic and even about the method that you are going to be possibly using for your proposals. So you will find those sources and then you will write annotation for each of those sources, which means not a description of what is in the actual article only. Really, you're saying how that article is relevant for you or why maybe it starts going in a direction that's useful, but then it deviates and you want to build on the topic in a different way. But really, the annotation is about how you're going to be using that information or how that information is useful for you specifically. So it's not just a summary. The annotation is talking about the value of it for the study that you might be doing. Okay, so 2.5 weeks until that's due. So if you haven't started, if you haven't gotten to the library at all, get to it. Also, if you have not come to see me, you have until the end of next week to come and visit me for the first time to talk about your topics. So make the appointment to do that. Especially if you're feeling lost or confused, come and talk it out with me, and we can start to figure out how you're headed. In general, with the class, the discussion posed from last week did seem to be more engaging. I'm excited to see how you're starting to problematize the issues that you are working with, which is great. This week, we are continuing in that thread of reasoning, so moving from, how is this relevant? Why is this a problem? Why would anybody care? To thinking about what your actual research question might be. So if you've taken qualitative with me or if you're taking it now, you have a little bit of familiarity with a research question. If you are taking, or if you're thinking about doing a more quantitative project, then from quantitative, you know that a research question comes in the form of a hypothesis. So you're trying to predict something. With a research question for a qualitative study, it's more about the exploration of a communication or a social phenomena. And so you phrase your question as such. But what the research question really does is the research question guides your study. So the research question is worded in such a way that when you are done with your project, that what you found, what you've analyzed, gives a specific answer or response to that research question that you started out with. So your research questions, they should be focused and they should be more specific than the general maybe problems that you were starting to articulate during the discussion post from week 4. So if you go into the document section of Blackboard, under resources, there's an additional folder that says worksheets, and there is a handout there that is on developing a good research question. And so as you're putting together your responses for this week, I encourage you to take a look at this research topic, or excuse me, this research question progression, and thinking about how your question might align with that. Again, nothing here is absolutely set in stone yet, but your research question, as you're putting it together, should start to reveal the focus and the direction and maybe some of the meaning or the value that you want to get out of this project. So, thinking about a topic like body image, which is what one of the things that Megan has discussed in some of her posts. So if you're asking a question about body language, or excuse me, about body image, if you're asking a question about body image, asking a research question that says something like, how is body image for women damaging in the media, right? that is a question, yes. It's a question that could be researchable, but for your own research question, you probably want to be more specific about what type of media it is that you're looking at, uh, damaging for whom, right? So, is there a particular group that you're thinking about identifying in your study? And if that's specific, if it's not just women anywhere, if it is um, women who are fans of uh, Bachelor in Paradise, then you would want to be that specific in your research question. So asking not just how is body image or the representation of body image in a television show useful, or let me start over. So if you're going to rephrase and make a question that is more specific, you would ask something more along the lines of how does Bachelor in Paradise impact the body image of the fans or the women who are fans of that show? So you identify an audience that you're going to be evaluating more specifically. You address the media that you would be talking about more specifically, and that focuses it in. So when you analyze the data, your data specifically answers that research question instead of something that is more vague, like how does body image impact women? Okay, so broad and making it more narrow. So if you go ahead and look at this research, or excuse me, the research question handout that I gave you, it walks you through some of those steps in just one page. So it's not a lot of extra reading, but it walks you through this in one page, moving from a topic to a research question. So, asking those open-ended questions to start, but then getting more specific about what you're looking at, and then paying particular attention to, is it clear, who you're talking about, and where you're going to find this data. Is it complex also enough for us to know where you're getting that information from, and also is it focused, right? So is it stated in such a way that we know what you're trying to get at? Okay, so take a look at this worksheet. I think that'll be helpful for you guys for coming up with the research questions for this week. Again, not set in stone, but a way to focus your direction further, which is all that we're doing. Okay, so I will see some of you guys again. Hopefully, come schedule a meeting with me if you haven't yet, please. And I'll see you guys in the discussion boards and in person. Other than that, I hope you have a great rest of the week. All right, bye.